Welcome back. Last time we talked about something that should shake you awake. The reality that buried deep in your spirit, there exists a desire that didn't originate from your own ambition or imagination. It was planted there deliberately by God Himself. A sacred assignment, a divine mandate written specifically in your spiritual DNA, a calling that bears your unique signature. But here's the brutal question we must confront today. If that desire is authentic, if it's holy, if it's divinely commissioned, why haven't you moved on it? Why do countless believers remain stuck, immobilized, trapped in endless cycles of preparation, or constantly occupied with secondary tasks while the primary assignment sits untouched? The desire itself is not the problem. The desire is pure. The desire comes from the throne room of heaven. The problem is the invisible force that emerges the instant you decide to act on that desire. It's the covert assassin, the hidden destroyer that operates in the darkness of your thoughts, and its name is fear. We typically reduce fear to psychological categories: insecurity, nervousness, social discomfort, or character deficiency. But when we examine fear through a spiritual lens, it becomes something exponentially more dangerous and destructive. Fear is the principal weapon the adversary deploys to keep you permanently disconnected from God's blueprint for your existence. It's not merely a feeling. It's a demonic strategy engineered to terminate your destiny before it ever sees daylight. Consider this reality. The instant you receive that desire to write, to teach, to innovate, to minister, to construct, to restore, you received a supernatural gift. The enemy cannot revoke the gift. He lacks that jurisdiction, but he can absolutely guarantee you never unwrap it. He can ensure that gift remains on the shelf, sealed and dormant, until your final breath. And the padlock securing that gift is fear. Look at the immediate reaction to rebellion in Eden. What happened first? Concealment. Adam declared to God, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself." Fear is the original symptom of disconnection from God. God's perfect love eliminates fear. Consequently, the manifestation of fear is proof that you are functioning outside the absolute confidence of His love. Fear is false evidence appearing real. It's the warning signal of a severed relationship. Now, fear seldom arrives wearing obvious horror. It's too calculated, too strategic for such transparency. Instead, it adopts disguises that frequently impersonate virtue, prudence, or reasonable caution. I want to expose the three most prevalent disguises fear employs when it specifically attacks your God-ordained desire. First, perfectionism. You know the saying, "If it's worth doing right." Completely accurate. But perfectionism is the perverted conviction that if you cannot execute it flawlessly, you must not execute it at all. This is a calculated deception designed to prevent action. Perfectionism is merely procrastination dressed in formal attire. It's the fear of inadequacy masquerading as dedication to quality. You postpone launching the initiative, beginning the venture, publishing the manuscript, posting the content, or initiating the conversation because you are paralyzed by the inevitable criticism, the probable rejection, the chance of being revealed as insufficient. But understand this truth. God doesn't recruit the qualified. He qualifies the recruited. Your initial effort is supposed to be functional, not flawless. Your first message doesn't need to rival historic preachers. Your first composition doesn't need to win awards. Your first enterprise doesn't need to dominate industries. Perfection is the opponent of completion, and completion is the exclusive pathway to improvement. Every expert was once a novice. Every champion was once an amateur. Perfectionism keeps you eternally rehearsing but never releasing. It confines you to the practice room when God has already summoned you to the platform. Second, compulsive busyness, or what I call the refined version of avoidance. This is the fear of dedication. You consume all your energy optimizing systems, arranging environments, studying materials about your desire, participating in events about your calling, or volunteering in numerous minor capacities. Anything to evade the one significant assignment God has branded on your soul. We mistake activity for advancement. We rationalize, "I'm occupied, therefore I must be productive. I'm depleted, therefore I must be obedient." But if you are occupied with everything else to circumvent confronting your greatest commission, then the fear of that commission's magnitude is controlling your calendar, not divine guidance. This is tactical evasion disguised as responsibility. You're not indifferent. You're petrified. You're terrified that if you actually dedicate yourself to the one thing, you might fail catastrophically. So you fragment yourself across numerous lesser obligations, guaranteeing you'll never have to face the judgment on your primary assignment. But God didn't distribute a dozen assignments. He assigned one. And all those alternative activities, regardless of their nobility, are diversions if they're preventing you from your mission. Third, comparison. The instant you observe the accomplished individual beside you and conclude, I could never do that. Or they already accomplished it better. Or why bother? It's already been executed. Fear has prevailed. Comparison is the fear of insufficiency. It's the conviction that there's inadequate space, inadequate attention, inadequate provision, inadequate achievement to distribute. Comparison is the robbery of contentment and the assassination of calling. Your desire is divinely originated. It is distinctive. It is non-transferable. You are not intended to implement their design. You are intended to implement yours. Their accomplishment is not a limitation on your destiny. It's evidence that destiny is attainable. Your assignment is intimate, precise, and irreplaceable. Stop measuring your beginning against someone else's culmination. Stop measuring your reality against someone else's presentation. Stop presuming that because someone else is executing something comparable, your expression is redundant. God doesn't manufacture copies. He manufactures masterpieces. So, if these are the disguises, what is the foundation? The foundation of all fear is the craving for control. We fear failure because we surrender control over results. We fear rejection because we surrender control over perceptions. We fear the uncertain tomorrow because we surrender control over predictability. We fear lack because we surrender control over stability. We fear judgment because we surrender control over reputation. Fear is the price of attempting to navigate existence without divine protection. But trust is the understanding that the protection is God Himself. Faith, the absolute foundation of pursuing a God-ordained desire, is the relinquishment of control. When you declare, Yes, God, I will advance on this desire, you are simultaneously declaring, I trust you with the consequences. I trust you with the opposition. I trust you with the provision. I trust you with the schedule. I trust you with the unknown. Scripture reveals in 1 John chapter 4 verse 18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. In this framework, punishment is an exclusively eternal judgment. It's the anticipated punishment of society. Failure, embarrassment, destitution, anonymity, or being rejected. When you comprehend that the God who deposited the desire is also the one who maintains your existence, the fear of society's punishments dissolves its authority. So, how do we eliminate the silent saboteur? You don't conquer fear by delaying until you're fearless. You will never be fearless. Courage is not fear's absence. Courage is executing action despite fear's presence. You conquer fear by taking one obedient step, even while shaking. First, identify it. Expose the disguise it's wearing. Is it perfectionism? Then your obedient step is to intentionally release an imperfect product. Post the unpolished version. Launch the prototype. Create the content even though your presentation isn't polished. Is it comparison? Then your step is to eliminate the one influence that triggers inadequacy and invest that energy creating your own expression. Is it compulsive busyness? Then eliminate 3 obligations this week and allocate that time exclusively to your primary assignment. Second, concentrate on the why, not the how. Your why is the desire God deposited. Your how is your fear attempting to dictate the conditions of obedience. When Moses questioned God, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh?" God didn't provide a comprehensive blueprint. He didn't supply a detailed framework. He provided His own identity. I am. Your identity, who you are in Him, is the only how necessary for the next instant. You don't need to understand how to progress from zero to massive influence. You need to understand how to create the first piece of content. You don't need to understand how the entire vision will be resourced. You need to understand how to initiate the first conversation. The step of faith is always modest, immediate, and completely dependent on God. It's never about the comprehensive strategy. It's about the next obedient action. Fear destroys desire by immobilizing you with disguises of perfectionism, busyness, and comparison. But fear is eliminated by perfect love. And perfect love is expressed through action, not contemplation. Faith without works is lifeless. Love without action is hypothetical. Your assignment today is direct. Identify the specific disguise your fear is wearing, and execute one intentional, imperfect, obedient action against it. Don't delay until you feel prepared. Don't delay until circumstances are ideal. Don't delay until you have additional time, additional resources, or additional certainty. Execute the step now. Your God-given desire is waiting.